Hi everybody, welcome back to The Joy of Pilates. Today this episode is brought to you from my parents' basement. It is during the COVID-19 time of social distancing, and so we've been staying inside, doing some Pilates classes inside, and I thought I would film an episode on some tips and moves and stretches for those who are now working at home, whether they're sitting at a desk or on a couch or in their workspace is completely different. Therefore, they may be sitting long hours. And they do say sitting is the new smoking, right? So we need to make sure we're getting up and moving and doing some stretches to sort of counteract what our body is doing in that time of sitting for long periods of time. So let's imagine you're sitting at on a chair at your desk, right? And you're going to have flexed hips. Okay, you may be typing and working on a computer for long hours, and you may feel sort of hunched over, and it's just sometimes so interesting when you're working and you don't even realize, like, oh wow, I've been really focusing on what I've been creating or doing here for work and not realizing what your posture is doing, what your body is doing. So let's imagine you're working, and you're kind of sitting in this like hunchback position or a little bit kyphotic. So that means the front of your body or the anterior, your chest, right? It's going to be short and tight. And then the back side, your posterior, so your back and your shoulders, that's going to be long and weak after hours and hours of working like this, day after day after day, working at home, right? So what I'm going to give you today is hopefully helpful for you while working at home is tips, stretches, and moves on how to sort of counteract those positions that your body is in for long periods of time. Okay, so we're going to be opening the chest, so stretching what is tight and strengthening the back, what is longer and getting weaker. So we're going to do some moves to work on that. And then of course the hips, we're flexed at the hip when you're sitting on a chair. You're flexed at the hips, so short and tight in the front, long and weak in the back to work on some glute strengthening moves too. All right, so our first move that we're going to go through is the bridge. So after half an hour or even an hour of working at a desk at home, I want you guys to move your bodies and do some moves and stretches, like I said, to give a counter element to how you've been sitting. So go ahead and come onto your mat or even just onto the floor if you have carpet somewhere or somewhere softer. Lie onto your back, hands at the sides. Press your feet down into the mat, squeeze your glutes and push your hips up, down and up. So I want you to draw your belly button to the ceiling, squeeze your glutes and push your hips up. Hips down, hips up, hips down, hips up. You want to think about the front of your hip, the anterior hip, and you're opening it. So you're stretching the front of the body and strengthening the back of the body. Remember we talked about when you're sitting in flexion, it's short and tight here, long and weak here. You want to change that. You want to make it even. So it's strong and limber, lengthened and lean all around the body. Squeeze those glutes, push the hips up. Now, once you get high lifted right there, you can do some little pulses and pulse, little squeeze and lift. I want you to exhale as the hips come up. It's just down 2 inches and up 2 inches. Exhale. Draw your belly in as you squeeze and lift. Squeeze and lift. Let's do 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and roll it all the way down. Move 2 in this video is swimming, and then we're going to kind of transfer that into Swan. Come onto your mat, onto your belly. Okay. And you want to bring your arms and legs out long. What we're going to be working on are hip extensors, erector spinae, and gluteus maximus work here. So the back chain of the body. So from here, you want to lift your legs up, lift your arms up, hold, and then lift up opposite arm and leg. So left arm and right leg, right arm and left leg. And you want to go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come down. From there, imagine your arms are reaching out as long as you can get away from your toes, and you want to squeeze the whole backside of your body to lift up. I always say you kind of look like a banana or the bottom of a salad bowl, and you do opposite arm and leg. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come down and rest. I would say do 3 to 5 reps of swimming and think how it's working and stretching the front of the body, lengthening and stretching, and then squeezing and strengthening then the back side of the body. From there, after swimming, I want you to come into Swan. Swan is a wonderful thoracic lengthening, so the mid portion of your back, lengthening move. Hands under the shoulders. And you can start with a mini swan. So you want to just push your chest up a little bit and then let your eye gaze follow slowly. Imagine I just flick a marble and you want to watch the marble roll away as you lift up. So what I'm not looking for, or what I don't want you to be trying at home, is that don't necessarily kick your chin up and neck back as far as you can. I want it to be a spinal lengthening move. So that's your aim here. You want to draw the core in, push your weight into your hands, watch an imaginary marble roll away, and lengthen your spine. Think about even drawing your shoulder blades down and back as you look very neutrally with the neck in front of you. And then roll it down on the front of the body. So you want to peel up from the chest, draw that abdominal wall in, lengthen the spine like a tree. Look ahead, relax the jaw, shoulder blades down, and lower down. Let's do one more swan. You can also squeeze the glutes here as well. Squeeze the glutes, engage the legs. Belly in, long spine. And that is a great move for posture after you've been sitting at your computer for quite some time. Third move is side plank mermaid. So it's kind of a mix of a strengthening and stretching, which is always what I love about Pilates, is it's really meant to strengthen and stretch the muscles and the body in all different places. You want to make sure you do your right side and your left side and always keep it even. And this is meant to work the spine and the core laterally. So moving to the right and to the left, creating your spine what's going to look like an upside down J going right and left. I want you to imagine an upside down J, capital J. So from here, modified version, you want to put your right hand down your left leg, and then you're going to lift onto your knee. So you're going to lift up, extend your other leg long, reach the opposite arm into the sky, and then reach up and over to really stretch out the lateral rib cage here and the obliques. Okay, you want to come down, look towards your arm, reach up, then over. You always want to think up, then over. So that's the modified version. The little tougher version or more advanced is going to be legs stacked, or you can put one in front of the other. I tend to like to start with one in front of the other. Come into your side plank. Okay, reach your left arm up, then over, up and over. From there, lower just the hips down a bit, reach up and over. And what this is doing is forcing your spine and your core to go into some lateral movements, which again is something so different than how you've been sitting in a chair or sitting at your work zone. All right, let's do the other side. It's also working scapula stability, strengthening your shoulders. All right, this is my left side. Again, the modified version, you're going to have a bent knee. You're going to have a bent knee here in front. Reach up and over, down, lower the hips, look towards the arm. Reach up, over, really push the side of your ribcage up to the sky. Little tougher for those who want to try. Either feet stacked or one in front of the other, strong, one shoulder at a time. Reach your opposite arm up. This is my right arm. Then overhead, stretch your rib cage up to the sky. Lower the hips, look to the arm. And exhale, and down. Working the oblique so much here as your hips lower and lift. And you can even hold it up there and really stretch out those sides of the body. And then, of course, if you want to take a stretch side to side a little bit. Ooh, loving that lateral work. Fourth move in this video is neck pull, meant to strengthen the core and mobilize the spine. This is a great one, again, if you've been sitting, working for a long period of time, and you want to move your body into some mobilization. Start supine, that means on your back. Bring your fingertips behind your head. Right away, let's inhale to prepare. Exhale, peel your head off of the mat, chin to chest, strengthen the abdominal, squeeze into the core, roll like a little ball. And here comes a lengthening. You want to snake through and lengthen your spine as tall as it can go. I like this part a lot next. You want to hinge back, and then you're going to feel that kind of shaking through the core. That is your stabilization and core strength element. Go back far like a diagonal line. When you can't anymore, roll back and take an inhale. Exhale. Here we go. Step 1. Curl round like a little ball. Step 2. Lengthen, mobilize. Sit tall on your sits bones like a tree. Step 3, hinge it back. You can hear my voice shaking. Hinge it back. Step 4, roll it down. Let's try that together. All the way through. So, roll. Lengthen. Sit tall. Hinge back. Hold. Roll down. One more time. This is our last neck pull. Exhale. Abdominal curl, roll, lengthen, mobilize, pull the shoulder blades back, look, hinge, eye gaze up, roll it back down. We've reached our 5th and final move, which is a little more like a series of moves, all melded together to benefit your hips. You want to come forward onto your mat with your right foot under your right knee. And from there, bring your hands on either side. What you're allowing is your left hip to sink, the left side of your anterior hip to sink and stretch. Okay, so you're opening the front of the hip, which is exactly opposite to how your hip looks when you're seated in a chair. Alternate then to bringing the hips back, flexing the foot, really try to push the toe towards the straight leg knee, and then stretch the hamstrings. Let's do that one more time each. So you're going to let the hips sink, stretch the front of the hip on the left side, and then from here, the right posterior side of the leg, so the hamstrings. Here comes a little bit of a flow. Now here's your level 1, where you're going to bring your opposite hip towards the medial side of your foot, reach your other leg, arm up, and look towards your fingertips and stretch your arm to the sky. You can even rotate a little bit more. From there, lift up your left knee. That's kind of your level 2, so a little more advanced. This is the revolved lunge. From there, you can even bring your elbows onto the mat, and this stretches a deeper, more acute stretch on the left side of the hip. And for those who are kind of into yoga, you can go into Pigeon. So that's going to work the psoas, so that really deep muscle that is connecting all through the iliopsoas region there. And piriformis a little bit too. Ooh, that feels so good. All right, let's go ahead and do the other side. So you're going to bring your left foot in front, right knee back. Okay, and then remember from there, now you can kind of see it on this side. You're going to let the hip sink and open the front of that hip. Really just kind of let it sink and stretch it. From there, alternate to a flex foot, heel down, toe up, stretch in the back of the leg. And again, down with the hips. And then the leg comes down, but keep it straight. From there, revolved lunge. Start level 1 if you like. Knee down. Reach your opposite arm up to the sky and rotate it back. If you want it a little tougher, lift up the knee, rotate and hold. And then from there, you can bring both elbows down onto the mat. Ooh, and stretch out those hips. After that stretch comes Pigeon. So see how the moves all flow one into the other? So that's a little bit of a flow there, a little series. All right, so those moves are going to benefit your hips. We have worked on a little bit of core strength, a lot of bit of spinal mobility and stretching, working the hips as well. I really hope you found a benefit to these moves I've given you today, and that you stay safe and happy in your workspace with these moves I've given you. I know it's so different working out at home, but you guys are doing great. Keep up the good work, working from home and staying safe in your social isolation or in your personal space at home during COVID-19. I also would love if you would like this video, subscribe, or even share it with a friend who is also working at home and who would benefit from these moves. Please find me also at Instagram at @thejoyofpilates. Okay guys, stay safe and thank you so much. Bye.